So that brings me now to my question about Onobiren. And I'd like you to just walk us through the steps to actually taking your movie to the cinemas. Because my title was okay, yes, from from journalists to trailblazing movie maker. Right. How I conquered the cinemas. So I want you to please share with us from your wealth of experience.
So Miss Martino, do you say how I conquered ma?
You conquered, oh, you
If I don't
conquered.
make 2 billion, Nuko, we are just starting. No, we are just starting.
Okay.
We have not yet
I
made the
love
two
your
billion.
humility. I do love your I love your humility. I love your humility. But please share with us, what are the steps to taking your movie to the cinemas? What are the, like, step one, step two, step three? What are we going to encounter? What do we
Mm.
need to make sure we know before we
So
go to the cinemas and
I think it
beyond?
might be.
And how do you market it? Because your marketing was special. So I've
Thank you
added a
so
lot
much.
and I'm still going to come with more.
I think it might be different for everybody, but I think it makes sense to definitely have the right film. Onobiren was our 10th film, so
10th,
it was
like
our
number
10th.
10.
Yes, it was our
Wow.
10th film. But it also depends on who you are. So, like my husband's very first film went to cinemas and did 100 million. So, if you're Apostle Iren, carry go, right? But
Carry
we
go.
needed carry go ahead. But we needed to find, I think, the right film. And then another thing too that helped us was the structuring around funding the film. If I funded that film with investor money, I might not have gone to cinemas
Sorry, say that
because
again. Say that again.
I
I
said
didn't get
it
that.
would also
If
have
what?
to do with the structure around funding the film.
Okay.
Because if I funded the film with investor money, I might not have gone to cinemas. I might not. Because the margins are not really great for a filmmaker when you're doing a cinema film. And it was my first, right? We did have some investors give us a loan which we paid back. But by God's grace, most of the film was funded by a grant from Africa No Filter under the Gates Foundation. So it meant that we did our money too was also inside, but a major percentage of it was funded by the grant, which gave us the freedom to now try something new and take a bigger risk, knowing that we were not now in a situation where there were going to be so many investors coming calling should things go south. So there was that. But I think yeah, so you must have the right film and you must really know how cinemas work. You must know the numbers. The fact that a film makes 100 million does not mean 100 million is coming to you. Maybe what will come to you might be like 30, and you are carrying like a lot of risk. And that's not even up to how much you would use to make a cinema film, anyways. But understanding how cinemas work and what you hope to achieve with the film. That you see that what you hope to achieve is very, very important. So you must know, okay, why? What's the reason? What's that one? You must understand what's the reason. You must choose the right film. Understand what the reason is. I think that especially if you don't yet have an audience, you should definitely build an audience for your creative work first before taking the film to the cinemas. I think so. I truly, truly think so. Um, so for the films that have come out this year in cinemas, Onobiren's top three Nollywood films that came out this year, based on the numbers. One number three,
Wow.
you have Love and New Notes, we did about 400 million. You have um how was this Yoruba Return of Arinzo, which I think is also nearing 400 now, and then you have that did 138. But for among those three films, you can see that it's the only film by a non-actor producer. So what that means that that's the only film that the producer is not an actor, a star. So, you're coming into the market. Even people who have a large audience still have to take, like, put in a lot of energy into marketing a film. So I would recommend that you do build an audience for your creative work. You understand how cinemas work, how the cinema process works. You are sure that this is the right pick for distribution of the film. Because, like I said, I don't think it's any right and wrong way to distribute a film. I think it depends on what film. What film? I can wake up tomorrow and say I'm doing a YouTube film again. I'm doing a virtual cinema film. So it depends on what I think is best for that film in particular. You definitely want to have the right distributor. And I think it's also important that when you are negotiating with your distributor, you don't have to say yes to every single thing that you're offered. You really need to speak to people in the industry and ask yourself, okay, what do I hope to achieve with this film? So that when you are negotiating rights, you can figure out what works for you as a filmmaker. Um, I think it's also good to have a plan as to, okay, when it comes out from cinemas, what's next? Because sometimes the excitement of my film is going to cinemas just overwhelms a lot of people, and they don't really realize the importance of that. That I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that um you don't blow, right? Okay, but after cinemas, what's next? Where does the film go next? I think that's a conversation to have. Getting the right distributor. I think that also looking at the data. So there's a document that Film One releases every year called the Cinema Yearbook. I think that anybody who wants to do a cinema film should definitely look at it. That way, you are able to know and
Did you
tell.
just say the cinema yearbook?
Yes, the Film One Yearbook,
Film
Film
One
One
year.
Yearbook. Yeah.
Okay, so they are the you actually can get that from Film One.
Yes, you can check the link in there, but it's free. It's just that I think many times it's called showbiz, but I think many times entertainers care more about the show. But you must understand the business side of, so that you know what to sink money into. You know what decisions to make. So, for example, if you notice with Onobiren, I didn't really do, I didn't really travel around Nigeria for lots of meet and greets. I stayed in a particular area. There must have been a reason why for me. And it doesn't mean that it won't work for other people, but look at the data, figure out what works for you, build that audience first. Because even if you stars in your film, that's a good thing. But I don't think, maybe something I learned from being an author. I never thought that bookstores could sell my books better than I could. Because my thinking was bookstores have so many books to sell, and they prioritize my one book if I don't show up for the book. And I think cinemas have a lot of films to sell. They'll definitely favor the film that's already doing well. But how do I ensure that my film even does well in the first place, such that it's prioritized, giving good show times, things like that? I think just really having a strategy that works, not taking things for granted. I think when I was going to the cinemas, I remember telling myself that I'm not popular enough not to work hard. Like I don't, I don't.
Let me interject you a little bit here. You know, one of the things that I saw about you, I saw tenacity. I saw the way you would, I mean, those times you would take the bell and ring on over there, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it was like marketing on steroids. But you just said something here that really blew my mind. That you're not popular enough not to work hard. So you
Yeah,
put in the extra effort.
no, but you do have to. I think it's important to put in the work so that the people who want to support you are even more excited to support. I think that that's. Remember I said I think people would would show up for you to the level at which they see you show up for yourself. So first of all, we made a really good film. And I remember one of my friends was an actor saying, "Thank you for making this easy for us. Like, we would have supported you either ways. But thank you for making it easy for us." But then when you see people, I know how much, especially in the first few days I was in cinemas, I was receiving collaborative posts back to back, people doing their content, push and glory, singing the song. I think that I'm grateful to God for them, but I think that many of them also responded to my body language, which was, "This is our film, this is me putting myself out there." And it's easier for people to put themselves out there for you when they see you putting yourself out there for what you believe in. Because the truth is, the Nigerian economy is not easy on the average person. And I think that audiences want to be taken seriously. Like, you can have so many people following you, but if they don't see you put in the work, they'll just carry their face. So you really have to show them that, oh, I really need you. And um, if somebody wants to support you, I think making it easier for them by really like put having skin in the game. I think that that's so important for anything you're doing.